Again to NWEA Basics for Teachers, sponsored by the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. My name is Jean Potter, and I will be your guide for this session. We're going to be talking specifically about the class breakdown reports. In our last session, we talked about how to access them, going to map growth reports, choosing the class breakdown report, and setting our options. We're going to be viewing this report online because it's interactive and I can use it very effectively that way. So this is the report that comes up. At the top, as always, you can see the district and the school name and the teacher name and how many weeks of instruction. This is for one assessment only. I can also see how the results are reported, whether they're by RIT, by goal, or by projected proficiency. In this case, I've chosen by RIT. I can see the RIT scores for the overall assessment. So for mathematics, for reading, language usage, and so on. Those go down the side. Along the top, I can see the RIT scores broken down into groups of 10 points per RIT score. And for each range that I have a student who scored in that range, I can see the students' names, so that I can begin to look at what students did in mathematics compared to reading. So for instance, if I look at PN here, PN scored in the 201 to 210 range in language usage. But if I find PN in the overall score, I should be able to he or she scored in mathematics at the 211 to 220 range. And so I can begin to see some differences in the students. If I want to dive deeper or go deeper into this, I have two different ways to do this. I can either click on mathematics or I can click on the goal report. So let's click on goal report, and this will break the overall score down into individual goal areas. So I have now for math, operations, and algebraic thinking, real and complex numbers, and so on. If I wanted to change to reading, I could change to reading, generate that report, and it breaks it down into goal areas based on the reading scores. And again, I can begin to look and see where students are scoring and how they have achieved. The other place I can go, or the other view I can take, is by projected proficiency. So let's take a quick look at that. Projected proficiency will give me an idea of how students are expected to perform in upcoming tests in the spring. If, for instance, I can project out based on their scores for how they would do on the ACT College Readiness Test. And I can see that Mr. Reban's class has several that are not on track to score at least a 22 on the College Readiness Test. He has several that are on track to score between 22 and 24, and a few that are on track to score above 24. On the other hand, if I look at the reading scores, he has only a relatively small number that are not on track in reading. He has two that are expected to score between 22 and 24, and he has several that are expected to score above 24 if we're talking about the ACT. Scrolling just a bit further down, I can also see a link to state testing. In this case, since I'm using the demo site, it is a generic linking study. Oklahoma teachers will in the future be able to see a prediction of where their students will fall, whether it will be below standards, proficient, or advanced. So those reports are available. I can see each of those as a projected proficiency. Again, I choose each of these by going to the pull down here. I realize you can't see the pull down, but it will say RIT, goal, and projected proficiency. Come back for the next session when we will be looking at a little bit more about how to access these scores and how we might use those scores.